Hello everyone, I am Tacit and welcome to the Gems of War campaign 24 week 2. So today, wow, we have a lot of things. Well, one very big thing. Actually one thing I didn't mention in the other video, I didn't think it was too relevant to mention. Not sure why I'm mentioning this before the big thing, but let's start small. But they changed a couple of the text on a couple troops to kind of clarify their abilities quite a bit. I don't think any of them actually gotten reworked for the most part. Well, actually, some of them did get worse, a few of them. But for the most part, it was just kind of a few rewordings and just kind of shifting things around just to make it a little bit clearer. But I forgot to mention this in the video. It wasn't really too important overall because they were pretty small changes. But the big thing, though, the very big thing, which I didn't even notice because it uses the same art as the one that already came out. But we have the 4th Power Orb Mythic. Of course, first was Zolgoth for insta-kill with Skull Spam into Freeze Burn. Really good with triple damage burn teams. Then the second was Enrage Carindare, which I believe was the first troop, not counting Doom, that had Invulnerable, while also having a decent ability, while also being a pretty decent curse option at the time. Though these days, there are a billion other better ways of doing it. Then we had the third of Famine, or not Famine, what's his name? I said Famine because he's there. But Catharix, whatever his name is, where is he? Then we had Catharix, which was the third one, which has to kill the enemy into creating a bunch of power gems, because it was around the time when power gems started to become a lot more popular. It ends up having Curse Fairy Fire, which are really good with cast specific troops, particularly with Tesla, but also just in general. So we end up getting that. And then finally, most recently, literally today, we got ourselves Maelstrom Dagonoth, which did not get nerfed. Like, we saw this troop coming for almost like a year now, several months, and it did not get nerfed from what it was, which is kind of insane. It kills an enemy, and then creates 12 random potion gems, which is a lot of mana. Like, each potion gem is like, what, 3 to 8 gems when it's popped or something like that? I forget the number, but it's a lot of mana accumulation. And then gains an automatic extra turn, which is probably the craziest thing about it. If it was just the first two things, it'd be like, okay, that's kind of balanced. Because it's high risk, high reward, you get your kill, you might get a lot of value, you might backfire pretty heavily. But the auto extra turn, kind of crazy. It's still not the quickest way to win, oddly enough. It is still quicker to, of course, run like Quick Kill Flower Dragon for a lot of stuff. Like, for example, if we wanted to explore 12, we'd still be running like, you know, Flower Dragon, Stellaric, stuff like that. Even double Tesla team if you want to go down that route. But, yeah, this is still quicker because killing one at a time is oddly enough actually kind of slow in the current state of game. We power crept so far that one-shotting enemies in infinite loop is actually slow. However, that is what it does. That is exactly what it does, and you don't need anything high rarity to make it work either. Like, you don't even need Wanda Stars on this team. This whole team is just common Dark Strider into ultra rare Leprechaun. Wanda is kind of there to cover the rest of the colors. But you can do that just with the explodey weapon that's red and yellow. But we'll go explode everything, get everything rolling. Get Wand off to get the last of our mana we need. And then we just go into insta-kill, infinite loop. So we get an insta-kill there, clear the whole board. Get another insta-kill, clear the whole board. Get another insta-kill, clear the whole board. And as long as they don't have immune to insta-kill, which a lot of battles don't. Underworld doesn't have any immune to insta-kill. Most of Explore 12 doesn't have immune as long as you go to somewhere that doesn't have a Doom. And a few other game modes where you can end up using it. Like if your PvP team that you're up against has no immune to insta-kill. One big issue with him though is he's probably going to be pretty common in PvP. And if you see him in PvP, you can't really use him against himself. Because you can't really get rid of his immunity of insta-kill. He also has Submerge, which is actually really strong too, the invulnerable into Submerge. Makes it really hard to land anything on him, just because he has immune to almost everything, including AoE damage, oddly enough. But he's also immune to his own insta-kill. One of the easiest ways to deal with him is to use a Boss Slayer troop. Like all the other Power Orb bosses, he does count as a boss, and because he counts as a boss, he can be one-shotted. It's probably the biggest flaw with him overall, is he is very one-shottable as far as his typing. We could even show that if we could go find one in PvP real quick. I'm pretty sure there's some people running it on green. We're going to do green PvP real quick and see if we can fish them out real quick. But yeah, the easiest way to deal with it is just use a boss slayer. Also, thank you, Chad, for continued support. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Also, let me say all of those. Hello, Bill. Oh yeah, we'll be handing out the better code today, by the way, too. We have one of the old 4th of July pets to hand out today. I didn't hand it out on the 4th of July just because I thought this week would be a little bit tamer as far as nothing going on. But then they dropped that Mythic, and then it's like, oh, we do have something going on. And of course, we covered a video on that earlier today as well. But yeah, we'll be handing out the 4th of July pet today. So we'll hand that out, not immediately, but you know, a little bit. And anyways, hello Jets, hello Stacy, hello hello Cookie, hello Sushi Ninja, hello Chad, and thank you for the continued support. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Speaking of which, let me give you guys a code. Actually, I don't have my code section open. One moment. Where is my code section? Code? 1 second. Why is it buried? Codes. Found them. Oh yeah, I need to go dig up the old 4th of July, or not the old 4th of July code, but the 4th of July code because it's still in my Discord. I'll go get that in a little bit, but there you go. Enjoy. Anyways, oh yeah, I was gonna go test some PvP. So I want to go see if we could find one since there's green restrictions, so it should be pretty easy to fish them out. Let's see. Probably gonna have to do a few battles before we can find a battle that has them set. I'm still using the other team. Wait, let me go grab, what's his name? Where's, there it is. This is pure green, so we can use it for green Guild War. So we'll go run this real quick. Quick battle. Let me just clear out one battle real quick. And then we'll go see if we could go find a mirror match for him. Well, I'm not going to be using exactly that, but we will be using an insta-kill just to kind of deal with the alternative one. Hopefully it doesn't get replaced with a Valhawk. That'd be funny. Would prefer that not to happen. That's a big deal if it does, though. Oh, yeah. Immortals have immune. Oh, wait. Never mind. We already have to deal with that. That's another factor, too. Why on earth would anyone use that Immortal that bad? What are you doing using that Immortal? I wasn't expecting someone to use something immune like that here because the option is so bad. But someone actually did it. Okay, fine. We'll box straight until we get a skull. We got Hourglass Gem. We can spam this quite a lot. Come on, skull. Where are you at? There we are. Still not enough damage, though. A little more. Alright, there we go. Alright, can we go find this guy so we can go show how to counter it real quick? No. No. What, is no one using the new guy? Come on. No one gonna use the new shiny troop that just came out today? I guess there isn't too much of a need to do green Guild War today. Or green PvP, I mean. They are all the green PvP people. Some people had to have set a new team by now. I want to find at least one. Maybe Central's the way to go. Hey, everyone's running on Central instead of in green. I feel like green would be a pretty popular place to run it, though. Especially because how cheap and accessible the team is. Yeah, stop killing things so I can win the battle. You're killing things too slow compared to his insta-kill. Alright, maybe Central's the way to go. Oh no, there we go, found it. Alright, so we found one. He's using Wanda Stars, pretty much the same team we're running right now. Just with Wanda Stars and String Filler instead. Or never mind, he's still running Wanda Stars, but he's running String Filler instead of Box Strider. But yeah, Wanda Stars, the Maelstrom guy, String Filler, and Leprechaun. However, let's go get our replacement to go and deal with that then. So anything we really need to go do is just find a boss slayer. Let me go do this by base rarity and go down to epic. There we go. Does this one have the extra turn one? I think the extra turn guy was brown red. Trying to think of which one of these has the best overall ability. Based on everything in this category here. Explosive Web, based on Ascension, Hunter's Mark, Stun, bunch of magic, 3 elemental stars. Honestly, that might be the way to go. Summon a random undead. 5 things. Dispel all enemies. I would actually get rid of cleanse, oddly enough. And barrier and such. Tangle all enemies. Honestly, I'm liking the 3 elemental stars the most, I think, here. So I think we're going down the 3 elemental star route. Yeah, this would be the easiest way to deal with it in a kind of situation like this. Obviously, you'd have a lot more flexibility depending on what the restriction is. But for green, we'll go down this route. Because it is still a boss. Even though it has a billion ways to not die, It does still take 5 types damage to bosses, so... Or from boss damage. So all I have to do is just poke it and it dies. Yeah, that's all you have to do to counter it. Just throw a boss troop at it and it just instantly falls. Well, assuming you have high stats and your thing is, you know, fully ascended. But you should have at least one for whatever restriction to be able to do that normally. But yeah, that's the easiest way to deal with them. Just literally one-shot it with a boss troop. Is going to be the way to go a lot of times. It does probably compromise your amount of mana accumulation on your team, but it's worth it to one-shot the enemy's Dagannoth. Because it's way better than their Dagannoth infinitely looping on you and killing out your whole team. But you have to sacrifice some mana accumulation, but it's worth it in the end. Just to make sure you can actually win. Because this battle would be so slow if you had to try to kill it otherwise by the end. And there we go. But yeah, that's a new Mythic. Overall, really solid. So hello, Lester. Hello. Hoping that's low too. Hello, everyone else. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, hello, Isabel. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, that's the new Mythic. Really, 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 really absurdly strong. They did not nerf it at all from what it was originally shown as. And I am very surprised they didn't. Because, wow, is it strong. Though it is still not quicker than this kind of team. It is still better to run Flower and Stellarix for most quick kill related things. Most notable being pet battles, Explore 12, basically all dailies. Like, you know, like things like pet event, things like dungeon daily, stuff like that. It is still way better to be running the Flower Dragon Stellarix, just kind of quick kill build. But for things that start getting really high stats, or if you just don't have the alternatives to use the stronger stuff, it is really good. But 4 insta-kill is still kind of slow for a lot of game modes, despite how strong, in theory, it is. Because you can only kill things one at a time so quickly, compared to all at a time. How about if foes have one new boss and one immortal in the team? Well, you could just not use the insta-kill mechanic then. Like, at that point, you'd probably just drop him for a boss slayer and a different damage source. Like, you know, you would just build a normal team. If the enemy has a lot of insta-kill immunity, and maybe even stealthies to go with it and everything, you would just have to drop him and, you know, kind of build a normal team. Maybe put a Raid Slayer on there, otherwise just put the normal damage you would always have on it. The Raid Slayer is mostly just make sure you could break through Submerge. Because a lot of the really good ways to kill something, let's say like, I don't know, Beatrix or Truffle under the green category, for example. If you're not using like, you know, Flower Dragon or something. Those get countered by Submerge, which of course he has. So a lot of times you're going to need a Raid troop to break through to get past the Submerge. Because the whole reason you're actually using a Raid troop on those kind of battles is not necessarily for one-shotting the boss, but it's more so because the other good damage sources you would otherwise be using, he's pretty much immune to. Because he has immune to nearly everything plus having Submerge. So a lot of the super quick kill stuff that you would have access to, it just doesn't really work properly on him. So the best way to deal with that is just kill him with a raid boss troop. And then just run the other 3 troops in your team to go infinite loop with whatever you want to go do. Whether that be Flower Dragon, Beatrix, Truffle, whatever else you're running, Tesla. Why don't you try to get into the top 50 for Hardcore Iron Man or Old School RuneScape? I actually will be pretty soon. As soon as Sailing comes out, I go up like 60 ranks instantly. I'm kind of waiting till the Sailing grind before we do. It's also based on total XP, and I only made it like the account like 2 years ago. So, yeah, if we just give it time, it'll get there automatically. I've been AFKing in the background still. I finally got Beaver, by the way, in that one game. We were trying for that for the entirety of Brighter Shores. We got to like 91 million XP, and I finally got it earlier this morning. I actually got it while I was making the teams for this video. Yeah, we finally got it. After almost 1,000 hours of woodcutting AFK, it's like 5 minutes AFK at a time, like 5 to 6 minutes. It has finally happened. I've been trying since on and off, not consistently, but I've been trying on and off since November, or actually technically October, like early October. It took like 9 months. It's crazy. Like 1,000 hours over 9 months. Anyways, what are we doing here? Dungeon. Let's go clear our dungeon. Then we'll go do Invasion. Divine Invasion. Alright, can we get top 3? Nice! Okay, it's guess the door time. Alright, let's get the guess the door going. Yes! That's door! Alright, let's see what we got here. 4, 5, and 6. There you guys go. Let's kill these out with Flower Dragon. But yeah, this is a setup if anyone wants to guess the door. See if we can get it. We got a perfect the other week, so let's see if we can get another one today. Alright, what do we need here? I'll take that one over. But yeah, when Sailing does come out for Old School RuneScape, I probably will be streaming it like almost every day for a month. Kind of like what we did for Brighter Shores for a while there. It's gonna be like 1 month where that's like literally all we do. Obviously, we'll still be doing all the normal Gems of War videos, but you know what I mean. Like, as far as streams and stuff, it'd be like the only thing we do. Oh yeah, a lot of 6 votes. Maybe we go for 6 instead of 4 this time. That's a hefty amount of 6 vote for once. Alright, one more hit. Actually, 2 more hits. Come on, a little more mana. Extra turn, unfortunate. Oh, I could have taken extra turn off of Pharaoh. I always keep forgetting to cast them in situations like that. Alright, let's see. Alright, 4 isn't dead last, which means there's a 100% chance it's 4, but I will go 6 since it's winning. Alright. But I'm going to make a bet it's 4. It was 4. No! We should have stuck with the 4! It was 4! No! See, that's why you never choose anything other than 4. Because the second you don't choose 4, it is like a 100% chance it's 4. It was 4. Very unfortunate. Hey, that reminds me, I think we have a triple deep book to go open today. Let me go do that. I think we're still a ways from getting another kingdom upgrade, but, you know, still make progress towards it. One we're really looking forward to, of course, is Blade of Lands getting max. I think we need like 10 more purple deeds for that. Then 1 billion scrolls. Yeah, I need 17 more purple deed books. That is a while. But hey, 1 deed book at a time. Okay, let me go open them up and see if we can get any. Let's go over to shop. Oh wow, why do I have so many? Oh, because we got first place that 1 week. Why is it still so high though? Wow, that number really skyrocketed out of nowhere. Every purple deed book will hand out a code for. Come on. Come on, are we not going to get one today? No! Oh, so we have 69,000, nice. But no, unfortunate. Unfortunate. Oh yeah, we still have to go use our Valhawks and everything. Before we do that, it's in the title. Let's go do Divine Invasion. Oh yeah, I overwrote my team earlier. Hopefully I have it set up. I think I do. Do I have the correct team set up here? Good, I do. Alright, that's fine. For the earlier fights, how do I want to run this? For the super, super early fights. What's our best option to hit all enemies that isn't hero weapon? I will go hero weapon if we absolutely have to. Oh, and Furnace is fun. Honestly, I'm just going with third Takshaka. Why not? Let's see. Give me blue, yellow. +2 blue, +1 yellow. Banner does not exist because I don't want a minus green. I'll find a minus green. It's not like we need a caster. Yeah, let's just go triple Takshaka. We have to use her because she's double score. But we'll just run triple Takshaka until we get to a point where it won't work. AK once we reach 4 towers. Then we'll build back to a real team. Oh, so how did she get full mana first? I guess it makes sense because we just got a little bit of green and just fed straight into her. Hello, Garuda! Welcome, welcome. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Now this is a weekly event. You gotta do 5 battles per category. When they made it a weekend event for that small period of time, I'm not sure why, but I got so used to the less amount of battles you had to do. But yeah, now you have to do quite a bit. That's fine. Invasion actually does pay out pretty well compared to most weekly events like this. Because you get 65 gems and an orb leading up to the thing. You get gems, 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 and then an orb. So it actually has one of the better payouts of any weekly. The absolute best payout for any weekly is definitely Journey, though. Because all the deed books and everything it has in it. But Invasion probably has the second best payout of any weekly event. Do you think the new boss is good? Yes. to put in Guild War Defend teams. Very yes. Like, exceedingly yes. Like, I didn't mention it in the video, but that's honestly going to be one of his core use cases. Is Guild War Defend teams. Because that is absurdly good on Guild War Defend. Because AI can't really mess it up. They'll still try to find a way. But they can find a way to mess up anything. But that troop is very hard to mess up. It's kind of like a Goblin troop in that regard. It's one of the reasons why Goblin teams are so consistent normally on defense. Is they have auto extra turns, so it's a lot harder for the AI to mess it up. And that thing not only has auto extra turn, but also immune to, you know, everything. Or pretty much everything. So yes, 100% you should be using it on every single category where you're allowed to use it. Actually, what's his colors again? Does he use green? I'm trying to remember. I don't think you can set it for the green final battle, which is kind of unfortunate. I guess blue would be the next best category you could put it in. Because he doesn't use green, right? Does he use green? Is he that broken? Of course he is. He uses green. Anyways, we're going to keep doing green Guild War Defend. Oh, gosh. Honestly, I might go defend green tower this time instead of doing flower dragon for dragon. I might go defend the main area and see how much the Daganov just obliterates everything. But too bad we can't see like the playbacks of our defend teams. I would love to see that, particularly for Guild War. Mostly for Guild War. But yeah, that's going to be really funny. But yeah, if you're running green, blue, or brown location, and most of the people are just running green or blue for the most part. I still personally feel like green's better. But yeah, you can run this on the final tower. So yeah, green is like just a complete wall. Because on one side you have Dragon Divine. Actually, we can show it right here. I think you can still check it, right? Even though it's not Guild War. But yeah, green is insane. We can kind of show it off of blue as well. But over here for green, you have Dragon and then Divine. Which is Takshaka build and Flower Dragon build. In middle, you have Divine. Oh, no, sorry. You have Naga, which is Takshaka build. And on bottom, you have Goblin team over here. So you have Infinite Loop Goblin, you have Takshaka build, you have Takshaka build again, and then you have Flower Dragon build. And then, of course, on tower, you then have your green Daganov build, which you can now build with Flower Dragon and... Oh, gosh. You know what that team is? Oh, gosh. That is hilariously broken. That means the team that you would run for green Guild War Defend on tower... Oh, I definitely gotta try it if my guild lets me have it. Wait. What would that be? That would be... That'd be Daganov. The Maelstrom one. That would be Flower Dragon. Because it's currently not replaced. That would be... How are we mana accumulating this? Honestly, I'm feeling like Leprechaun Essence of Evil angle. There's a couple different ways you could do this. They could technically deny all of our green. It depends on what the week is. Next week is, what is next restriction? I think it's Blade of Lands. I believe Blade of Lands does have a couple way of denying green, so we might have to adjust this specifically for that. For a better mana accumulation option. But I still feel like something along these lines would kind of be the route. Like something along the lines of this. I still feel like Leprechaun could be replaced for something. I'm trying to think. If you're running green... You could run the new Goblin and get your 2 explodes per turn. That might be the route. The problem is you would get stunned pretty early. Whereas Leprechaun would guarantee get to cast. And then you set your banner to, honestly, just probably pure green. Maybe like green-red, given that for next Blade of Lands event, red is pretty heavy. Red and purple are really heavy for next event. And you could probably keep Elementalist. I'd either go for like mech or something. Just so you can get the Dispel. Because you still need Dispel for Flower Dragon if they're running Submerge. No, in all fairness, Blade of Lands doesn't have Submerge at all. I don't believe they do. So you wouldn't actually need Submerge counter. But something like this would probably be the Guild War Defend team. Essence of Evil, so Wand of Stars doesn't get replaced, or whatever strong weapon you want to run there. Flower Dragon, because it's still broken beyond belief and doesn't get replaced. Obviously, the new guy that has insta-kill while also having Submerge, while also having immune to everything, while also having infinite mana, while also having extra turn. And then Leprechaun, because you need something mana accumulate other than your thing. Like, obviously, all these have mana accumulation attached to them. We need something to get it off the ground. And I think the new bomb guy just isn't quick enough. Like, if we go to bomb pile. The biggest issue with him is how only does 2 explodes per turn. Wait, what's his name? Is it not Bomb Pile? I forget his name. What I forget his name? Why can't I type Pile? Oh, Boom Pile, not Bomb Pile. But anyways, like, he's not a bad option. The problem is he only gets 2 explodes per turn. And it can be stunned away really easily. Like, really, really easily. That's one thing that's nice about this guy. You can't stun away his Submerge. You can't even curse stun away Submerge. You can't remove his Submerge. Unless you just Dispel off of Hero with, like, Mech or something similar. Or any kind of Dispel. You can't get rid of it. You can't curse it away. And, yeah, it's basically the only way is just to get Dispel on it. Otherwise, you have to deal with constant Submerge on him. Having an HP buff on this team honestly wouldn't be that bad. Just to make giving him a little bit tankier. Just make sure he doesn't die. He's giving him a little bit of durability. He's in a pretty good position. One really funny troop for that, though the AI would never use it correctly, is why do I forget his name? Sacrax. Sacrax gives a ton of HP to all allies. And can infinite loop into green or whatever color you want. The problem is the AI will never use this correctly, even as Impervious too, so it won't get frozen or anything. Under a player-made team, it'd be fine. But the AI would never use this correctly at all. Whereas you should be able to use this correctly. Generally, we'll use this correctly. This it probably won't use correctly, but as long as it hits something, it should be fine. And Leprechaun just to get the ball rolling. But something like that would likely be the Guild War Defend for green, Final Defend. Something along those lines. Anyways, let's go back to Invasion event. But that's for next week. And obviously we'll adjust it based on what we need to do for defense. Why do you use Facecam for brighter for Gems of War and not other games? I don't know. I used to for all games. And then I kind of stopped doing it for any game that wasn't Gems of War. For no other reason other than, I don't know, I just kind of felt like it. Because for every other game we do, we just do just the game itself generally. Like no overlays, no nothing. Unless we're keeping track of a death counter or something. But otherwise, literally no overlays and just the game. What about Double Zarg? You can multi-up on him. The problem is, getting him mana. One thing he's really weak to is mana drain. Like, once he gets going, obviously he has a lot of his mana. But it's really easy to keep him from ever getting full mana if you mana drain spam. But then again, never mind, you can't mana drain him directly. I forgot. Invulnerable has immune to mana drain too, doesn't it? Wow, that is strong. Wait. Never mind. Wait, you can't actually mana drain him, can you? Immune to mana drain. That's funny. Never mind. Ignore that. Gosh, that is strong. I'm actually really surprised they gave him invulnerable instead of impervious. He's by far the strongest troop to ever gain invulnerable by 1.5 miles. It's not even close. Like, he's at least 5 miles ahead of the next strongest troop that has it. Not counting Immortals. I guess there are some Immortals that can be that good. Like, fully max Immortal Ossifer can be, and a few others. The problem with that is, like, no one has the maxed. Even people who max spend on PvP don't have it maxed yet. It's just really luck-based to get max even under that circumstance. Since it's never been, like, directly targetable. Alright, let me go hand out another code. But yeah, the code after this code, we'll go hand out the 4th of July code. Actually, we'll do it after we finish our Invasion event. How about that? But the next code we'll hand out will be the old 4th of July pet code. I'm not sure what year it's for. But one of the old 4th of July pets we'll go hand out in a little bit. I do need to go grab it from Discord. Should probably go open Discord before it takes 1,000 years to open. That doesn't take that long. Let's see. Luckily this computer is not the slow one. No, actually the really slow one finally died the other year. It's why we actually got this new one the other year. Because the one I had for like 11, 12 years finally died last year. Still have some stuff I need to recover from it. Hasn't been a super high priority though. Most of it was on my backup drive. There it is. There's all the codes. Thank you, Jetto. Let me grab all that, which has the 4th of July pet, as well as a bunch more codes. Copy, 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 copy. All right, let me close Discord. Where's close Discord button? Do not click end stream button. I've never done that on accident, but it will eventually happen. Well, I'll try to close Discord and accidentally close the stream. Has never happened before, but will eventually happen at some point. All right, let me go grab the 4th of July code. All right, we got it. We're good to go. I will hand it out as soon as we finish our invasion then. Shouldn't take too long. Attack shock is relatively quick. Oh, those are all the pets? Let's see. Which one do I have then? The only problem is I don't know what name it was. She did mark it, but in my copy paste, I don't know what it is. So me knowing what all of them are doesn't actually help me figure out which one it is. But we'll find out in a moment. I want to say there was Little Freedom. I think it was that one. Which means it would have been the 2018 pet. Let me go check. Yes. It's the 2018 4th of July pet, which was actually the first one of any of them. I believe it was actually the first new pet ever added to the game as well. Back when pets were first added, there was a big wave of, you know, all the intro ones. But I believe that was the first new pet ever added to the game. Was the 2018 Independence Day pet. So any of you that don't have that, yeah, we'll have the code for that in a little bit. As soon as we finish our invasion. I feel like they have a bias to handing out that one. Though it is a cool looking eagle. I do like that one the most, honestly, cosmetically. But I feel like every other year we get to hand out that one or something. Like, it feels like they have a bias towards that one. Oh, so I would say I wish we had a better AoE option, but honestly, triple talk Chaco's doing exactly what you think it would do. And it's going pretty well. Honestly, this might almost be worth it once we hit 4 tower. Though we're definitely not going to keep her in this at 4 tower, though. But you could. At least for a lower range of 4 tower, you would eventually need the 5 times damage that the tower troops have. But at least prior to 4 tower, this should be able to hold its own the whole time. It's the only thing I always found kind of weird about Evasion event. There are a couple events that kind of have like a 2-phase system. As far as like you have to do something initially and then you have to do something slightly different afterwards. Like for Bounty Hunter this Friday, you got to do 19 battles and then repeat the final one over and over and over again. For things like, I'm trying to think of another event. A lot of world events, you have to do like 30-ish battles, and then you start getting the real battles over and over again. Like there's a lot of game modes, even Raid event. Like you have to do all the boss troops first and then you get to like the real battles. But that for Invasion event is you basically have to get past all of the non-4 towers until you get to 4 towers. But the problem is every battle prior to 4 towers makes the tower build a lot weaker. Because whenever I show the tower build for, you know, the weekly video, I am making the assumption that it is against 4 towers. The team you would run prior to 4 towers is generally slightly different. Obviously, you would still have to use the tower troop for the week, which we're using in last lot. Otherwise, our team would be 4 Talk Shaka. But we have to use it for double score. But, you know, once you reach 4 towers, your team completely shifts. Because then you can go into the double tower killer build. Hello, Chris! Welcome, welcome. It's just really clunky doing it prior because you have to deal with, you know, troops that are basically immune to your damage. Because you can't hit them for 5 times damage. Not that they're literally immune, but you know, they take longer to kill. Which is rather ironic that some of their early battles actually take longer to kill than the later battles. Due to the fact that they're not a tower until the later battles. He's got a token of Nisha from an angel offer? Nice. That's a pretty good offer for it then. That's hello, Minnie. Hello, Chris. Welcome, welcome. Hope all's been well. I saw Imperial Foot in RCI earlier. But yeah, I still can't get over the new Mythic they added today. I was not expecting something like that today. Like, at all. This was supposed to be like an almost nothing week. And then they added like one of the strongest troops to ever exist in the entire history of the game. Which is very much not a nothing week. Plus we have the 2 explodey guys in Soulforge. Or one in Soulforge. We have Pharaoh in Soulforge, and we have that blast guy, the boom pile from last Friday. He's still available until end of Thursday, Friday reset time. So if you haven't gotten him, open your Vault keys from last Vault event weekend and try to get him. Really good to get a copy or 2 of them. What's the thoughts on the new boss? It is very, 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 very strong. Honestly, probably slightly too strong. Though ironically, will not barely be used in endgame. As is almost always stronger to run Flower Dragon. Unless you're running against really high statted enemies. I would say the only exception for that in like super endgame is like level 400 to 500 pure faction. Or not pure faction, but just 400, 500 faction, generally speaking. But beyond that, yeah, you're actually not going to use them too often. Then Guild War Defend, he's going to be really good for Guild War Defend. But if you have access to the really strong Stalwarts and Flower Dragon teams, you're not going to need him too much in the current state of the game. But it's definitely going to help early to mid-game progression a lot. As it's a very, very accessible troop that does not need much to function at all. Like, not counting the power orbs to get him, everything you need to make a proper team for him can be farmed within literally your first week of playing. Minus the 8 power orbs, which is the main thing that will bottleneck you. But you can easily farm that in one Vault event weekend if you grind it hard enough. Which a newer player probably would, since they're, you know, playing a lot initially normally. Because you need 8 power orbs, which is the equivalent of 24 major blue orbs. Which, if you're converting them all, is the equivalent of 48 small blue orbs. Which sounds like a lot, but if you play a Vault event weekend enough, you can get that in like 1 or 2 Vault event weekends. Alright, final battle if we don't get a Val Raven here. And then we'll go hand out the 4th of July pet. Of course, we got the one for this year on last week's Wednesday. But this is for the original one back in 2018. Or I believe that's what this one is for. Okay, I'm going to post it any second now. 3, 2, 1. Alright, there you go. Enjoy. But yeah, that should be the 2018... Not you. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, a little freedom. I think it was this one. I think. But yeah, I believe that's the one that it was. This little eagle one from 2018. The first OG new pet to the game. Way back when. Because that's when they added pets, 2018. Let's go grab all of our stage rewards. Should be a handful of gems, all of our other loot. For oh yeah, that reminds me. Have I donated gold to the guild this week? Oh, if anyone should join the guild, we do have 1 spot left, by the way. It just opened up. We're gonna need to fill that by next Guild War, ideally. Have I donated gold yet? I have not. Alright, let me go do like 3 million. There you go, guild. Alright, what do we have? I got pretty average loot. There we go. Alright, next order of business. Let's go clear some dailies. Oh, another campaign task. What have I not done? It was mostly just the extra turn spamming I haven't done yet. Oh yeah, that Major Glory Orb. That is so good. that they put that there. And of course that's accessible on free side too, which is nice. Alright, grab all that. Invasion event we just finished. Underspire, not gonna do that right now. We'll buy the torches though, just so I don't forget. How strong was the team for Underspire this week? Am I gonna go all the way? I know the low rarity team was kind of bad. Oh no, high rarity team wasn't bad. It had brown flower dragon on it, right? I'm probably just gonna do a floor 4 completion. Even though we have brown flower dragon, I'm not a fan of the mana accumulation. We have no empower and almost no mana link in the kingdom. I went this because it has Firestorm and a red link, using it almost entirely for its traits rather than its ability. But yeah, I think that's the main thing holding it back. This event would be really quick if there was a really good empower. The only thing you can power to is yellow though, because I believe the bunny into yellow converts the only thing you have for empower in the whole kingdom. So it's not that great. Alright, Underspire we'll do you in a little bit. Dungeon we already did. We didn't get the perfect though! People voted for 6. No! Alright, let me go to PvP. Try Sky Hero. Sky Hero is decent. The main thing I hate about using Sky Hero is mostly the inconsistency with it. Wait, is this the team I want? No. Well, I don't know. Yes? Sure, why not? You know what? We'll run the new guy. He came out today. Might as well use him. Did I get chat I missed earlier? I don't think I did. Alright, anyways. Alright, take that over. Go for a little bit of mana, go for insta-kill. The only problem with this team is if something has immune here, we're going to be in for a bad time. Also, it's quite a bit slower than just running Flower Dragon here. The struggle of not using Flower Dragon. I don't know, maybe we go replace it with Flower Dragon again. That's the big issue with it, generally. Every kill one at a time troop has this problem. Even the ones that are broken beyond belief. And that is, we have gone through so much power creep that killing one at a time is actually slow. Insta-killing with infinite loop is slow. Which is kind of crazy. There's something I was mentioning before he came out as well. And seeing it in action is definitely the case. Where obviously with a Flower Dragon we would just instantly win a lot of these fights. Still gotta do it since he came out today, just kind of see it though. For the very final battle, it would be fine to switch into a team like this. I'm just not sure it's worth keeping a copy piece just to go switch for the final fight, though. Because for the final fight, he actually would be better than Flower Dragon. At least from a win rate perspective. Sometimes you can lose to the enemy Flower Dragon in the central area and a few other shenanigans like that. Whereas this guy would never lose to that. You would just instantly get his mana and just kill the biggest threat. Yeah, that's one advantage that insta-kill has over AoE as well. Is whatever the most annoying thing on the enemy team is that can actually pressure you and kill you, you can just immediately kill it. Which is not something you can do with AoE damage. That focuses on killing the whole team at once. It's the only really big downside of AoE. That and Submerge counter. Which this thing has! I do find it kind of crazy how powerful of a troop they basically handed out for free, though. Like, I know 8 power orbs, you know, isn't like... That's not the easiest thing to get. But it's far from the hardest thing to get. Like, I would say it's a little bit harder than 4,000 diamonds. But not by much. Especially if you get some from some of the holiday events for free, basically. Or for a couple hundred gems. You can craft all the stuff from Vault event weekends into it. But it's very, very strong for how early accessible it is. But you have to keep in mind, this is just a 1 week thing for being able to craft him. You can craft this guy literally whenever you feel like it. You can craft him this week, you can craft him next week, you can craft him a month from now, you can craft him a year from now. He's always perpetually in Soulforge. Like, the second you have the resources to craft him, you can. It's not like a Mythic where you get the 4,000 diamonds and you might have to wait like 3 months for it to rotate. This guy, you get your 8 power orbs and you craft him literally the second you have your 8 power orbs. Which in that regard, technically makes it easier to get than any of the other mythics that are 4,000 diamond. Because you don't have to wait for his rotation ever. You just simply get him the second you have him. Or have the resources. Alright, let's go run the extra magic as well. Ooh, spell reduction. Honestly, that wouldn't be bad. You know what? Let me just give it the spell reduction for once. Oh, we're using the new guy. I don't know. Did we go to the same team again? I don't know. Might as well. He came out today. Might as well use him a bit more than we normally would. This is another set of battles where I probably wouldn't use him over Flower Dragon. But, you know, he came out today. Might as well mess around with him a bit. But it's definitely a scenario where running Flower Dragon is stronger or Stellarex or similar. But yeah, insta-kill is an interesting mechanic in that it scales, you know, indefinitely. As long as something doesn't have immune to insta-kill, it upscales through the entire game as far as damage is concerned. Which makes it really good, obviously, the higher the enemy stats are. When otherwise other troops would start falling off. Because they could have 1,000 all stats, it would still insta-kill, of course. Whereas Flower Dragon would take like minutes to kill it. Oh, so I do find it funny that some of the best support troops for this thing are literally commons. Bogstrider, Thrall, and Bork are by far the 3 most useful things to use with it. Particularly Bork and Bogstrider because they can be used in the same color restriction. Bogstrider because of green, Bork because of brown. Unfortunately, blue doesn't have an equivalence. Alright, that kind of just killed. He actually had his ability slightly changed. He was one of them that had that slight rework today. I changed several of them, just to make their wording a little bit more clear. Some of them had their ability slightly tweaked as well. Nothing really relevant was changed from what I could tell from them, though. And here's the one battle where switching to him actually wouldn't be horrible. Because we're starting to get to really high durability. Like we're talking like 600 or so durability. Anything that starts to get about 500 or higher is when you would start considering him. Potentially even 400 or higher depending on what your damage sources are otherwise. But it's around the level range or the durability range where things like Flower Dragon, Stellarex, and similar builds would start to struggle damage output wise. Where something like insta-kill would start to become better. Alright, let's go run the Fae. Alright, what do we need here? Obviously we're going to use what's her name. So this is going to be Glacia. Oops, I spelled Glacia wrong. I have no clue how. Leprechaun. I don't know, do we even need anything else? I don't know, what else is there? Like, that's the whole team already. What else do we really need? Put a wand on it, and that's it. Actually, do we have Miss Mother? That'd be funny. Is Miss Mother Fae? I know it's Dragon. Ah, it is. Nice. Oh, that's strong. We'll give it some mech. We don't really need to bypass it, but I still want to have it just in case. Let's go double green just to get mana going a little quicker on it, since we already have +1 green off a Leprechaun. I could always run Archmages too to make it go a little bit quicker. Maybe I'll do that. Because we don't really need anti-submerge here. Do that. Go to class, Archmages. Yeah, it should be good to go. I don't think we would change anything else there. It should be enough damage. Alright, good to go. Blue has Peasant. Oh yeah, that would definitely hard carry. Look, if we had Peasant right now, we could go take that extra turn right there. How are you supposed to do that without a Peasant? That's so much damage. Mist Mother plus like a nearly maxed Immortal is so much damage. You see, yet another instance where even if we could use the insta-kill guy in this category, hypothetically, we can't. But if we hypothetically could, it would actually be worse than what we're using now. There's one thing I find really funny with this game sometimes. They can make the most broken thing ever on paper, which the troop that just came out today is. Yeah, there's so many situations where it's not worth using, despite it being so absurdly broken. Like top 5 strongest troop in the game. Yet it's still weaker than something that is barely even top 10%. Just because of the context of the battle. Oh no, we didn't have enough damage to kill. Oh, doesn't this thing have like a billion immune? Yeah, the 75% reduction. No wonder why I didn't die. That's not the player-owned version. That's the really tanky one from the Citadel fight or whatever it's called. Ooh, a little short. Oh no, resummon. Whatever shall we do? Alright, there we go. Good to go. Alright, next. Everything here cleared. Oh, I still haven't taken my one Valhawk? How? All the battles I've done, I guess because we didn't have the thing at the time. Yeah, let's go insta-kill one real quick. Oh, so I should be probably taking a stronger battle. If I'm going to use the insta-kill build, might as well go for the strongest ones. Because the main reason I would go for these lower ones is because Flower Dragon, Stellaryx, and the such can one-shot them. But it's not really relevant if we're just running insta-kill build. We can just run the highest team always. And as long as they don't have something immune to insta-kill, we're fine. And if they do, we just have to adjust the team or run something else. Also, if you haven't hit the category for doing special gems from last week, it would be so easy to do with these potion gems. Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of high rarity builds, though. You mean people are going to be using Maelstrom Dagannoth now? Like, you're almost going to need a dedicated troop slot just to countering him if you're going to be running him. What's even more annoying is Flower Dragon 2 kind of gets countered by this. Because you don't have the same momentum. Easiest way to counter this would be replace that Box Strider and put a Tower Slaying troop on the team in like this slot or so. Or vice versa, replace that Leprechaun and put a Tower Slayer troop like in last slot or something. But anyways, that's all the PvP we need. Alright, Valhawks, check. PvP Weekly, that'll be later issue. Seasonal goals, we're getting to them slowly. Season Pass, we'll claim it later. I will go spend the burning marks we currently have low. Let's see if we get anything. I'm still looking for Immortal Gemini. We got nothing. Nothing but even worse. Nothing. And nothing. But slightly better than the other nothing. That was horrible. Not a single Immortal Soul, and still somehow not a single Gemini copy. It was from last season, I still have 0 copies of it. And the new one from this season, I only have 1 copy of it. They only got the 10 once to get the initial thing. We have so little, it literally says level 0, or, you know, level 1 with 0. Get the bare minimum we could to unlock that thing. Alright, that's everything we can do in PvP. That's everything we can do pretty much everywhere. Other than, the extra turn one. I've not been getting that many extra turns, but honestly, potion gems, that's going to be so free now. That is so free with how much extra turns you get from potion gems, because not only are you going to potentially get an extra turn from the potion gems themselves initially landing, but then every single wave of the cascade is also going to give you even more value. All right, let me go ahead and add another code. All right, here you guys go. Here is another redeem code. Enjoy. All right, so next order of business. I think the only thing left is Underspire. Let's go run some Underspire then. Underspire should be pretty tame this week if you have the higher rarity stuff. Lower rarity, it's kind of a nightmare. Probably wouldn't even bother with lower rarity. It's doable. It's just kind of annoying. But high rarity, I think I'm just going for floor 4 completion. Biggest issue with going all the way this week for is mana accumulation is bad. It's the biggest thing holding it back. Your only empower is Rabbit, and you don't have much else beyond that other than, you know, things that would normally do their ability. Like, it's not awful. Like, you definitely get it done, obviously, like every week. But it just feels like it's gonna be a little bit too slow. So we'll just go for a floor 4 completion. I almost feel like putting Cobalt Wand in first slot. The reason I have it in this order is it's a lot tankier in this order. But honestly, I don't think we're ever gonna die. So, yeah, I don't think we really need to worry about it in this order specifically. Like this, it's pretty much at no threat of ever dying. So let me go switch it up a little bit. Because it would be a little bit stronger with, I'm actually gonna do a double switch here. Because I want the Flower Dragon to be a little bit more forward. So we're gonna do something like this then. Even this is to get the mana accumulation a little bit better. Use Hung Along literally for its magic gain. Not just that, but also team bonus, not that bad. Not only does Monk have 10% extra stats this week, which I guess in the context of this team, I'd honestly rather have the extra mana accumulation at the moment. So let me go mech. But not only do we get all that extra stats, we still get a little bit extra magic there. But we get an extra 3 magic to all dragons per extra turn. Which of course the Flower Dragon is a dragon. And it's gaining like 3 times its magic and damage. Which is a very big number. Not exactly 3, I think it's like 2.5. It's still a lot though. It's getting like 7 or 8 damage per magic it gets. Or, you know, per extra turn that you take, I mean. That's not a small amount of damage. That's a pretty hefty handful. Alright, what else do we need here? If anyone still has any other questions, anyone want me to go over, let me know. This will be the last thing we clear for tonight. Yeah, I still can't get over to new Mythic. I'm not sure what they were thinking with that. Like, every time I looked it up into spoilers, it was like, oh yeah, they're gonna nerf that before release or something. And here we are, it's like, nope, they didn't touch it at all. I'm still surprised they left it that strong. It's another thing on the power creep train. I still feel like nothing in the game has ever power crept as much as Stellarex plus Flower Dragon, though. Despite how strong this troop is, the new insta-kill one. Even though it's really, really, really strong, like, how much stronger is it really compared to any other insta-kill option? The main thing really keeping it together is the auto extra turn. If you ignore the auto extra turn, it's just like any other insta-kill option. It's just the extra turn that's kind of putting it over the edge. That and having immune to, like, literally everything, pretty much. I guess that's the other factor, too. I almost feel like it's trait setup that's actually really carrying him. Invulnerable plus stealthy is kind of crazy. Like, we've already gotten to see how strong, like, Impervious plus Stealthy is. But the fact that they give him Invulnerable and everything, that is just so much value. Because he's really hard to deal with is the problem. Like, you almost have to use a raid boss slayer to kill him. It's the only way you could really focus them down properly. Like, you basically have to give up one of your slots to get up one of their slots. Which does put you at advantage once you get the cast off. Because it's way easier getting a Boss Slayer to 12 mana than it is to get Dagonoff to 30. And it's going to be the biggest demise of him on a lot of teams. Is you literally just fill up a Boss Slayer on the opposing team and just one-shot it instantly. And then you basically have a 4 versus 3 battle. And while one of your options is a little bit weaker than it otherwise would have been, it's still 4 versus 3 at that point. And there are some pretty good boss slaying troops if you can use everything. Obviously, under given restrictions, you might be a little bit worse off. Like, what do we have for Blade of Lands, for example? I'll go check, because that's the next Guild War restriction, right? Is Blade of Lands. So if we go to Guild War, Blade of Lands, we can see right there. So let me go double check. Let's say, hypothetically, we wanted to go run a counter to it. Your counter for next event would be, it would be this troop. Lucifria? It deals a bunch of damage to boss, burn all enemies. So it's insta-kills their Dagonoff and burns all enemies. As fast as well, so you only need to feed it 6 mana. Also has double damage to burning, which the whole team would be burning by that point. But that's not bad. It's not like over the top, but it gets the job done. Basically 2 times skull damage against the entire enemy team. And only need 6 mana to go kill out their Dagonoff. Which generally you should be able to do before they get 30 mana. Though they are probably going to Leprechaun it and do like everything in their power to instantly get a full mana though. But if you can turn one her into like an empowered purple, you could just immediately kill it and just make it a 4 versus 3 on turn 1. And get rid of their main core damage option. Though I have a feeling most Dagonoff teams are going to run 2 damage sources, not 1. They're probably not going to double up on Dagonoff, but they're likely going to have a secondary one. Like with our Green Defend, for example, we showed Flower Dragon be our secondary one. Where even if you kill this, you still got to deal with a pretty standard Flower Dragon build. So even if you get the insta-kill on it, you still have to deal with quite a bit of a team. You should never build a team defensively that uses him as your only damage source, though. You're always going to need a second one of some kind. Because he could just be one-shotted literally turn 1. To a raid troop. And every category has access to a raid troop. Every kingdom has one, every typing has one, every color has one. Oh, that's not where we're on to go. Trying to get back to Underspire. He has 62 shiny EVs? Nice. Oh, that's a good shiny, too. Just because how many ones it could transform into. You haven't been keeping up with too much Nintendo lately. Not even sure when I'm eventually going to pick up a Switch 2. Because I'm not sure if I will for the next Pokemon game that's coming out this December. I might. It just feels so pricey getting that, like, just for that. And obviously Mario Kart. You gotta go for Mario Kart. Because initially when I get it, that's like almost... If you get, like, the attachments and everything else, that's like $700 to $800 for 2 games. That is so pricey. Obviously that would go down as you get more games and everything else. It's just such a absurdly high upfront price initially, though. To be able to get, like, the webcam thing, to be able to get the console itself. To be able to get a game or two. By the end of it all, it's like slightly under 1,000, counting tax and everything. Which is why I haven't yet. That's like a whole computer cost, or half a computer cost. Yeah, I still can't get over how many shinies Pokemon Go has, though. It's kind of crazy. I still, to this day, have never tried Pokemon Go. When it got really popular, I still never bothered trying it back when it first came out. When, like, everyone was playing it. Come on, just a little more mana. Where are you? Was this just taking his mana? Could have just gotten it directly. Plus, this build feels so overkill. We're just trying to feed a little bit of mana, and then we hit them for like 300 damage. Just a little overkill. Just slightly. Just slightly. Technically not 300. It's like 200 damage still. Alright, that one's double dead end. We're gonna have to take them all anyways. Let me just go for it. The other way doesn't even get us to the door anyways, or to the room. 1 mana shorts. Let's see, with this setup, I almost feel like putting double blue. Just to ensure we can get mana a little bit more conveniently. Ah, there it is. Ah, that's all of our battles. But yeah, I'm only going to go for floor 4 completion this week. I'm not a fan of the mana accumulation this week to get it done. The damage is definitely there. The mana accumulation is kind of underwhelming. It's pretty average. If we're going to go for a floor completion, I kind of want to have a, you know, actually good option. Average won't cut it. Oh, did we finish all the stars? Nice. We finished all the stars on day 1. I don't know. It definitely takes a little bit longer to get the stars. I don't know. What do you guys think of the new star system? We should make a poll for it at some point. Maybe next week's Monday. I don't want to do it right now because it's like right at the end of the stream. But, I don't know. What do you guys think of the new star system? Do you like it more or less? About the same? Main thing that feels weird about it is it takes about 2 times to 3 times as long to get the daily done. Like, we probably just hit it now after like a little over an hour. Whereas before we would have hit it in like 20-30 minutes. So obviously not that big a deal. How much longer it's taken for the most part, because it's still pretty quick. It's still something you can do passively without going over away. But, yeah, it does take longer. Any way you look at it, it does take longer than before, but still just as passive as before. Plus you have all the new campaign stuff you get for it. This game is becoming your job. Oh no, dailies don't take that long. I think on average, since we're not always streaming every single day, like any week that we do like just the Monday stream and everything, I get every single daily done by like the 4 to 5 hour mark, I think, over the course of a week. So it's like a little under an hour a day. Which is not that bad for a daily system. But it's like, what, 30, 40 minutes a day? Obviously, whenever we stream it, we always do it for at least an hour, though. That reminds me, we need to go use over Volkey soon. But no, it really depends on how many things you go for stretch goal-wise. Because the main things are important are daily adventure board. Any of them that are good loot here, you tend to go for. So for me, this day would have only been gems. Going for your XP booster, you could go for, but that's pretty optional. I would say mostly just going for the bigger resources like gems and the other stuff here is the main thing you would need from this page. Campaign, both of them get done pretty much passively. All these campaign tasks will get done automatically after 10 weeks. All the stars will get done automatically if you just do any amount of dailies. So neither of those you have to go out of your way for. The weekly event, you normally just buy to like tier 3, tier 4 and just assist your guild that way. If you do it that way and if your whole guild contributes, it doesn't take that long. Underspire is pretty flexible how much you can do. You could either do the free battles, you could do floor 4 completion, or you could do full completion. Full completion is pretty long. It could take as high as 3 hours on a given week. Like if we tried doing it this week, I think it would be close to 3 hours to complete it out. But full completion, depending on the week, could be closer to 2 hours, depending on how good the options are. And if you're going for less completion, like just the free battles or just do the floor, which is 50 gems a day, then it's way shorter. Like I think with 50 gems a day method, it's only like an hour and a half by the end, even with a slower team, like this week. But it's still an hour and a half. Dungeon takes like, what, 5 minutes a day? PvP, probably take closer to 10. You just gotta do 3 normal PvP battles to get your Valhawks. Then you have to do your 1 Citadel battle on some days. And if you're in the purple one, you have to then do your 2 other battles. Like tomorrow we'll have to do 5 battles for Fae and 5 battles for Bright Fars. But that would also passively give us our Valhawk, so we wouldn't have to do the 3 battles to go for our Valhawk. So even though we have to do 10 battles, we don't have to do the 3 Valhawk battles because they get done automatically. That's not too bad. Because it takes about a minute per battle. Could take a little bit longer depending on what team you have options as. Because here we have obviously like a really strong team, but if we had something weaker, obviously it could take longer. Like this team wins in like, what, 30 seconds? Oh, I can't show it here. But this team wins in like 30 seconds. Actually, we could go show it. Like not even. Whereas obviously if you don't have as strong of ability, it would take longer. Which is another factor for a lot of game modes too. Because I tend to base a lot of times based on, you know, like end game stuff. But obviously earlier on in the games, quite a few game modes can be slower. I would say the main time sink that I don't currently do, which is pretty important as you're progressing through the game, is Underworld. Underworld is one daily I actually been skipping for like 5 years now. But it's actually really important to do initially. The Underworld battles. Because that you have to do your 3 battles every single day. And you generally want to be progressing to level 500 in every location. And that can end up taking closer to 20-30 minutes depending on where you're at, what level of range you're at, and everything. Because that's a pretty time-consuming daily. Across the entirety of an entire week, I think that comes out to 2 to 3 hours. Which does make it one of the most time-consuming dailies. Pretty comparable to that of Underspire. Because they're both called Under. Both the 2 Under ones are the biggest 2 time sinks. Both Underspire and Underworld take like 2 to 3 hours each per week. Depending on how you go about it. And they're by far the 2 longest dailies, weekly things in the game. Because if you ignore both of those, dailies is like 15 minutes on average per day, I think. If you ignore both of them. It's those 2 that add so much time to it overall. Both Underworld and Underspire. Because that makes up like 80-90% of daily time. As far as the daily system is concerned. Which is why we don't do Underworld. Well, that and because we already have it all maxed. Once you get all the kingdoms to 2,500, all the factions, there's a lot less incentive to actually go do Underworld, I mean. Whereas there's incentive to do Underspire is always there. Even if you had all 6 Guardian troops, you would still want to go do it for the, for all the medals you get. Because you get the bronze tokens, you get the silvers, you get the golds, you get the pet orb all the way at the end if you go all the way over there. You get a bunch of other knick-knack loot all the way throughout. There's quite a bit of good stuff there. It's pretty much always going to be worth it. Whereas something like Underworld, it kind of falls off like crazy the second you have 2,500 every location, or start getting close to that point. Because even then you had a surplus of cursed runes, or whatever they're called, where you have like infinite amount of the portal shards things. Where you're kind of just doing it just for the sake of, you know, completing them to 2,500. But then once you get there, it's like, okay, what do you do with them now? Because the answer is nothing. Pretty much, unless you just really want to upgrade them even further. That's kind of a waste of gold. But anyways, guys, we're going to wrap it up there for now. We will be back on... Actually, let's find out one more code since we're... Anyone who stayed all the way to the end. Let's go ahead and add another code. But we will be back on... as far as Gems of War, probably next week's Monday. I might stream some other game this week. I'm not sure. Throughout the week. I haven't really decided yet. As far as Gems of War, yeah, probably next week's Monday. We already have all the teams for everything throughout the week. The Bounty Hunter teams are already in the Monday video. You just have to go and replace them out. I don't have the copy paste for it because the Friday troop obviously doesn't exist yet. But I have the text of, you know, what you would do. It's the same team as always, of course. Bounty Hunter never changes. Same structure of team always. And of course, we went over the new Mythic. Highly advise getting it. Technically 2 new Mythics. One of them is permanently in Soulforge. And the really strong one that came out today, the one we're messing with and did a video on, the Maelstrom Dagonoth. You can get this whenever. He's available this week, next month, next year. He's perpetually in Soulforge forever. Has Invulnerable, has Submerge, has Insta-Kill, Infinite Loop in to auto-extra turn into itself. It is very absurdly strong. And by far the first thing you would target with Power Orbs. It's not even a question now. Like, before it was like, do you go Zul'Goth or Catharix first? It was probably Zul'Goth, but maybe Catharix. But now it's like, no, go Maelstrom Dagonoth. It's not even in question. It is better. If you can have this or the other 3 combined, this is better. 1 copy of this is better than all 3 of the other ones combined. If you combined all 3 of the other ones into 1 troop that did all 3 abilities, this would still be stronger than the other 3 combined. And of course, don't forget one other pretty big thing, if you didn't already get it, I'm pretty sure most of you have, but don't forget, it is the last 4 days to go get Boompile. Technically the last 3 days. He's available all the way till the end of Thursday at Friday reset time. So if you haven't picked this guy up, go open some Glory Gem Guild and VP chests, and you still go and get him as the only Mythic in those drop tables until then. If you need more of those keys, you could open Vault keys from last Vault weekend and get some keys that way, and then go try for him in the drop table. As it is really good to have a copy of him, potentially even 2. I personally don't feel like you need a 3rd though. But you definitely want to get at least 1 copy, potentially 2. And if you haven't picked those up yet, I still got a couple days to do so. But anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Have a wonderful week, and see you guys soon. Goodbye, everyone. But thanks for watching.